gadlis, had hayat gina legit, miko sabe mongen, boy of gadlis, if ginaga jihodozet.
Hiszczej, istongo nathliczka, githlida injugo, ajibas.
Hiszczej, hello. Welcome to the Porch Bandit Creek Indians Museum. My name is Blake Crook.
And I'm Brandy Chun.
I'm Nikki McGee.
And I'm Carmen Long.
Today we will be giving you a virtual tour of the museum. Hope you guys enjoy. Today we will begin with early Creek life. This area includes pre-contact to the mid-1800s. During this time, the men were known to be great hunters and the women were great agriculturalists. Life in the town, or the Idola, was bustling with games like stickball and chunky. Woven baskets and unique clay pottery were used daily and were essential to tasks within the town. Today we practice these as art forms to connect us to the past. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, several Creek people moved south from their traditional homelands to the Tensas River with the blessings from the Creek chiefs. The reason for this migration was to raise livestock for the Pensacola market. These individuals were seeking to acquire trade goods by means other than the deerskin trade. During this time, traditional ways of the Creek people on the Tensas were still important and they maintained a connection to their Idola. Lynn McGee was one of those Creeks that moved to the Tensas. In the fall of 1811, the historical famous speech by Tecumseh was given near the Creek town of Tuckabutchee. This speech ultimately sparked the Red Stick movement and the Creek Wars. The Creek War was a civil war where two separated groups of Creeks fought because of differences about the future of the Creek Nation. The Treaty of Fort Jackson provided for those Creeks that defended the existing Creeks' lifestyles and could take allotments within the lands that were ceded to pay the federal government for fighting the Red Sticks. Soon after the Creek Wars, Andrew Jackson was elected president and signed the Indian Removal Act of 1830. This ultimately led to the Trail of Tears. This removed thousands of southeastern Indians from their homelands. The small group of Creeks still remaining in the Tensas became isolated. This group banded together to live in the Creek life they knew, on and near the allotted land that was given to Lynn McGee in 1814. This group sparked the beginning of Porch Creek history. For years, this small group of Creeks lived together in isolation, enjoying a Creek lifestyle passed down through each generation. When timber companies came into the area and began buying domain lands, the free range of livestock of the Creeks was diminished. The isolation of the Creeks and lack of modern skill placed the Creeks at a disadvantage in a wage-based economy.
In 1929, Episcopal missionaries came to the area and helped the community. They provided medical care and domestic arts such as cooking and sewing. They also built two churches that acted as schools. In the 1940s, the community leaders took action to improve community conditions and educational opportunities. The Porch Consolidated School was built for Creek children.
Leadership within the Porch Creek tribe was not formalized until 1950. The first formal leader was Chief Calvin McGee. Chief Calvin served from 1950 until his death in 1970. Chief Calvin wore a headdress because many at that time expected it of Indians, and he wanted to educate people and the government that there were still a group of Creek Indians in Alabama. After McGee's death, a new generation of leaders emerged and evolved into a formal 9-member tribal council to govern the tribe. On August 11, 1984, the U.S. formally acknowledged that the Porch Bandit Creek Indian officially exists as a sovereign nation. A segment of the original land grant of Lynn McGee became the center of tribal operations. It is the only land within the original domain of the Creek Confederacy to still be occupied by Creek people. The Porch Band is the only federally recognized tribe in the state of Alabama. Today we are led by a fully functional government that ensures tribe members have the services that are required to not only survive but to thrive. Presently, the Porch Creeks are led by the first elected female leader. Currently, the tribe has established a strong infrastructure to provide quality education, housing, and health care for tribal members and to promote safety, in addition to other benefits. We are also actively working on preserving our heritage and reviving our native arts with regular activities to encourage traditional dancing, Muskogee language, and cultural identities. Hope you guys enjoyed the tour learning about Porch Creek history. See you again soon.